Isaiah Simmons isn't as known as he should be right now, and some better.
I think Isaiah's known. I think a lot of people know him. I would say a guy like Skowski is not known, and I think when it's all said and done, if he stays healthy, he's gonna have a great year. But that's just kind of a natural thing when you have the amount of first rounders and the high profile guys that left that team. It's a very fair thing to look at, like, wow, who's going to replace these guys? So we got a lot of guys that have a lot to prove, but again, I think to sustain success, you have to recruit well and develop well. And the reason we've had 8-10+ win seasons, it's not like we've had seniors for 8 years. I mean, we've had to replace guys every year. When Taj left, when Sammy left, when Deshaun left, and, fill in the blank. And so, hopefully we can continue to do what we've done for many years, and that's have guys ready to step up and fill some voids.
Can you mention a player like Kendall Joseph also left last year, and he's got nobody talks about that linebacker spot. He had a lot of snaps that are going to be taken up this year.
Yeah.
Who do you see taking up that role other than James Skowski?
Yeah, well, I think it starts with James, obviously, but we're going to be young in our depth. Jake Venables would be the next guy, and Jake probably had as good a spring as anybody on our team. Jake is a really good player, and I think he's primed for an excellent year. I think he'll take advantage of the opportunity. So he's a young guy. He's a redshirt freshman, but he's ready. He's ready to go play. Baylor Inspector, behind Chad. Chad can play Mike or Will. Skowski can play Mike or Will. But we'll start out with Chad at Will and Skowski at Mike. But Baylor over there, really excited about that. And then over our nickel Sam, Isaiah and Mike Jones. Mike Jones, another guy that we're really excited about. He's a redshirt freshman. Got a little experience last year. Jake played in 4 games last year, so they've played a little bit. And they had great guys to study under at each of those positions, and they're excited about their opportunity. And then we got 4 new guys that got on campus this summer that we're really excited about. Levante Bentley, and Keith McBride, and Kane. These guys, Brighton Constantine, who's not going to be able to play, he's coming off an ACL. But we've got some youth there that I think we're athletic, we can run. And it'll all start with that first group. Stay healthy, they'll get it done.
Coach, one thing we haven't talked about the last couple of days is Terry Bowden joining your program. Obviously, y'all go way back, but how did that kind of come about, and what does he bring to the program?
Yeah, I never really been around Terry very much. I was at Alabama when he was the head coach at Auburn, and crossed paths a time or two. He came in and visited a little bit when Tommy was here, but I really hadn't been around him much. He reached out in the spring to want to come watch practice, so he came watch practice for a few days, and then when the spring was over, he wanted to know if he could come back in the fall and if he could help out. And I said, well, we don't have volunteers, and I don't have any jobs open, but I think the only option you got is you could be a grad intern, but you got to be a full-time grad student and pay for he's got to pay for it. He didn't get anything. Next thing I know, he's like, hey, I enrolled in grad school. So he's working on his master's, and he'll just be a grad intern. And I'm happy to have him. Super nice guy. I just have a ton of respect for the Bowden family, and I know he really just wants to learn and grow and kind of reset. He's been a head coach forever. I think he was only an assistant for like 1 year. So he's excited about just helping out in any way, and so we'll be just like any of the other grad interns that we might have, and except he's probably the most qualified I've ever had, that's for sure. But he's been great.
John was saying over there with some relish that he thinks you guys have reached the stage where other teams hate you. Do you get any of that sense? That's been Bama's spot in the game.
Yeah, I hope not. I'm sure that I think in competition you kind of always want to beat whoever you're playing that week, and you certainly aspire to compete against the best. But I hope nobody hates us. It's just a game. At the end of the day, I don't hate anybody. team. I don't hate the Gamecocks. I hate anybody. I mean, God loves the Gamecocks too. So, I mean, I want to beat them all, but hate's a pretty strong word.
Coach, I wanted to get your impression of the transfer portal. They continue to tweak it. They made some changes this summer. Where they're at, what are your thoughts, and what changes would you like to see, if any, to kind of how the system is right now? What's in place?
You know, it's complicated. I don't really know where it's going to go. I think, you know, there's always unintended consequences when decisions are made, and sometimes you have to kind of figure out what those are, and then you know, make some adjustments to get things in the proper spot. That's probably what will happen with this. But, you know, to me, if a guy graduates, I don't care if he graduates in 2.5. I've had guys graduate in 2.5 years. If a guy graduates from college, that's what he came to do, and good for him. And he sees that it's a better situation for him to move on somewhere else. And I don't have any problem with that at all. And then sometimes a guy comes to you and he wants to transfer, and you know, he may tell you why, and it's a good decision, you know, because you don't have a long time to play. I mean, it's a short shelf life to be a college player. You know, sometimes it's a guy comes to you and you may not agree with him, and you try to, you know, talk to him, but at the end of the day, it's everybody makes their own choices, and you're either successful or not in life based on the choices that you make. And so it's not my choices for them. It's whatever a young man's choice is. He's got to live with that. So I think we've got to look at it as it goes, and as coaches, you know, there's a lot of challenges that come with managing the roster and things like that. So, you know, I'm sure we'll all figure it out. I haven't dealt with it much. I have not recruited the portal. I hope that I don't have to. There may come a day where I have to. Maybe I have some guys leave, and if somebody gets hurt, now we have an immediate need, and we may have to get it. I don't know, but you know, I prefer to recruit guys out of high school and go from there. But, you know, we've had a few guys that have transferred. Most of our guys that have left have been graduates. And
I think there's like 3, and that was
and they're graduates, and I think that is something they've earned. And the guys who have been great in our program have been modeled, and so, you know, sometimes you get disappointed, but it's about what's best for that young man, and the choice that he's got to make. And again, you try to educate and try to make sure that they have good information, that they're making decisions based on the right things, and that's not always the case. But sometimes it's hard to sometimes you got to learn through your own decisions, and so we'll see where it all goes. I mean, I don't like I said, I don't have any issues with where we are, and I'm sure again there'll be some learning as we go along, but I don't think it's going away. And you know, it's unfortunate in some ways, because there's some kids that I think will leave early that they shouldn't. And you know, there's certain things you learn through perseverance and competition and stick-to-itiveness, and you know, I think there may be a time where you go, okay, here's a better time for me to leave. But sometimes I think you know, where we are right now with the culture out there is, if things don't happen immediately, then you know, you move on. And I don't think there's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be adversity. I was kidding the other day with the media. I was like, you know, I'm glad my wife didn't tell me she was going to jump in the portal for 6 weeks and see what her options were. She might not have come back. She might have left me, you know, a long time ago, way back, because we had a lot of challenges, you know. It's like anybody when you're young. I was married at 24, but 25 years later, we're going strong. So,
happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Can you describe your recruiting philosophy in terms of when you feel comfortable in the process of offering a recruit, and when you do, is that always committable?
Yes, our offers are committed. That's when I don't offer freshmen and sophomores. That's my personal philosophy. It puts my coaches in a bind, because there's this culture out there that this 10th grader's got 50 offers, and if you don't offer him, you know what? I'm like, well, so I'm the bad guy, and I don't mind being the bad guy, and my coaches will sometimes tell a guy, hey, look, I mean, I love you. At some point we're going to offer you, but this is Coach Sweeney's philosophy. And that's just the way it is. But at the end of the day, I'm for slowing the process down, on both sides. But I want our offers to mean something. And now, if a guy gets an offer as a freshman or sophomore, it came from me. And I've offered guys. I mean, Deshaun committed to me as a sophomore, but I knew him. He'd been in our camp. He'd been on campus. I mean, Trevor, I didn't offer. After his freshman year, he sat in my office. He had 50 offers. I said, I don't even know you. Because so far offered me commits. I mean, I don't know anything about it. And so, I mean, I just like to have more information. I want to see guys grow and mature and drive a car, have a girlfriend, go to prom. I mean, is it too much to ask to play 2 years of varsity football? I don't think so. And that's just my own personal opinion. And sometimes that rubs people wrong and we lose out on guys, and that's fine. I'll go get the seniors. Because what's happened is so many decisions are made early on these kids, and they're developing, and then they don't develop. And so the bad side of that is you have people taking these commitments from kids, and then they bail on them. They back out on them because they didn't develop like they were supposed to, and things like that. So I wish the whole process was later, but that's just how we do it. I mean, again, I didn't know who Travis Etienne was till November of his senior year in high school. He's pretty good. I didn't know who Isaiah Simmons was. I didn't have a clue. Never heard of him. We weren't recruiting DBs in that class. And then all of a sudden after the national champ, because I'm not one that goes and recruits and telling guys to leave. I expect everybody to be back. If they don't come back, if he's a bad guy, I mean, I'll cut one loose. But if he's not quite as good, that's on us. So I expect everybody to be back. And if a guy decides he wants to leave, that's fine. But I don't usually ever know that. That's why every year I seem to have scholarships left over going into the season, because sometimes guys. But I don't lay my head down at night saying, okay, who do I need to run off? Because I've oversigned and all this stuff. We just don't operate that way. So, but Isaiah, after that national championship year, we had 3 or 4 DBs decide to leave early. So now I got like 3 weeks to go recruit. I had never heard of Kayvon Wallace, ever. Had to bring him in midweek, and Kayvon's pretty good. Isaiah's pretty good. Travis Etienne's pretty good. Trayvon Mullen. We got all those guys in that 3-week period, and I wasn't recruiting any of them.
Is there a point in your tenure where you felt comfortable devoting resources to go national as your program instead of being, or was it always like that?
No, it just happened, because as our brand grew, people started calling us. We have the same footprint. We're inside out. It's just kind of my philosophy. I mean, we're an inside out program, but we'll go anywhere for the right fit, for the right guy. We don't spend a lot of resources like, all right, let's all go recruit California. All right, we don't do that. Most of these guys that have come from outside of our footprint, now we've always reached out to top players and things like that, but the interest has been reciprocated, a lot more. And it might be a GA that's done the reaching out, but and so if there's interest, then we'll go see a kid, and more importantly, if they'll come see us, because if they'll come see us, then there's, I think, interest on both sides.
You mentioned that schools in this conference might not necessarily be getting their due, except for you guys. One of the schools that's trying to turn that around, Syracuse. From afar, have you noticed anything similar in the way they built their program and on the rise than when you were building Clemson?
Absolutely, man. Dino's done an amazing job. I mean, those guys show up, man. That's a salty bunch, well coached. Really know what they're doing. They play hard. They play together. You can tell they like each other. They're a family. It's very similar. I mean, and it starts with Dino. I mean, the staff that he's put together, the philosophy that they have in place on both sides of the ball. They're going to attack you, and they're well on their way, man. I mean, what a year they had last year, and saw it coming a couple of years ago. They're a team that's not going to go away. It's just going to continue to improve.
That's like what you mentioned when you got Kayvon